Hi everyone, welcome back to Fueled by Truth, where we talk about all areas of health and how to steward it well for God's glory. I'm your host, Chloe Fisher, and if you're new here, hello, and if you are returning, welcome back. And I'm excited for this week's episode because I'm going to be talking about how to stay healthy in college and just sharing my experience and what I learned, and hopefully give you guys some helpful advice if you're in college, about to go into college, or maybe you're done with college and you're like, how do I kind of continue my routines that I had in college? How can I continue doing that after college? And so I hope that I can help you guys with that advice from the Lord and just help you guys with that. And I hope that you will enjoy this episode. But before we dive into that, I kind of want to give you guys some fun life updates. One, if you saw on my Instagram, I posted of me painting my garage and surprising my husband with that, and that was so fun. He was so surprised. Like, we've talked about painting our garage, but we didn't know when we were gonna do it, and he just has kept mentioning it. And so he went on a youth camp trip just for like 4 days. I think it was not last week, but the week before that. And so that was a great time because he wasn't there, and so I got to just paint our garage, and I did that in like 2 days, and that was like the first real home project I've done, and I will say I don't think it turned out that bad. I thought I did a great job. So if you haven't looked at that, go check that out. At the end, I got my husband's reaction, and he was very shocked, but that was really fun, and honestly I really enjoyed it too. And then we're also getting our guest bedrooms set up and everything because my parents are coming in town, not this weekend but the weekend after, and then I have my sister and her husband and her baby coming into town, which I'm so excited for, and then also my brother and his girlfriend are coming into town with them at the end of July, which I'm so excited for. So we're just getting some home projects done, which has honestly been kind of fun because I love like doing home projects. I love organizing and just kind of figuring out what are we going to do in this space and this space. And so it's been really fun just getting to kind of brainstorm and look at inspo pictures on Pinterest and all of that. And so stay tuned for the final reveal of those bedrooms, or at least one of them. So I'm really excited for that. So that's been really fun. And then my husband and I don't know what you guys are doing for 4th of July, but my husband and I are going on a lake trip, and we're leaving tomorrow evening for that, and then we're staying until Sunday, and I think we're going to Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri. It's like a 2.5-3 hour drive, so we're pretty close to it. And I've only been there a few times, maybe like twice. 2 or 3 times. So it's a really great lake. I'm excited, and it'll be fun just getting to celebrate and hang out with friends, and obviously hang out with my husband. And so we're doing that. And comment down below what you guys are doing for 4th of July. I would love to hear all of your guys' plans and maybe your favorite thing about 4th of July. But we have that coming up, which I'm really excited for. And then also, I want to say that this episode is coming out today on a Wednesday. It's definitely going to come out a little bit later. Was not expecting to film this episode today, but it just ended up being that way, and so I'm sorry, but the episode will be coming out today on Wednesday. It just might be a little bit later today. With all of that said, let's kind of dive right in to the conversation of how to stay healthy in college, and I'm excited for that. So I was thinking that I would share my experience, what I learned from college, how my college experience was, and then just give you guys some advice of things that I've learned and that I've incorporated throughout my college years, and that I'm incorporating even now as well after college, which I've been out of college for almost 2 years. My husband and I actually graduated together in December of 2024, which was really fun. We both got to walk together, which was fun. And so been out of college for almost 2 years, which doesn't feel like it. Like, I feel like I just graduated college, but at the same time, I feel like I've been out of college for a lot longer than like a year and a half. But so I'm pretty new out of college. So all of the memories in college are still very well intact in my brain. So let me just kind of start with sharing like my freshman through senior experience. And so freshman year, I went to college for 3.5 years. I studied nutrition, for any of those who don't know. And I started going to college in 2021 as a freshman. I was like 18, so I was a baby. It was a very interesting time. Freshman year was really fun. I wouldn't say it was my favorite year. I would say junior year of college was my favorite year. That's really when I grew more in just finding community. I just got to really just create more healthier routines my junior year of college. And I got really more plugged into the church that I was going to. And so I really enjoyed junior year. But freshman year was still fun. There were just a lot of hard things that were unexpected my freshman year. But all of it was still such a fun year. Freshman year, I met my husband, who we didn't start dating until January of 2022. But I met my husband literally the second week of school starting. And I also met the Lord my first month of school starting in September of 2021, which that was such a blessing. I'm so grateful that the Lord saved me when he did. And so I was figuring out my relationship with the Lord, and I was figuring out this friendship with Ben, who's my husband now, and just a lot of life changes. And then I was navigating through how to be a college student, how to, in a way, live on my own, but where I was still needing help from my parents as well. And I was living on campus, and so navigating through dorm life, figuring out who are my friends, figuring out jobs, and how to figure out money and all the things, and also just figuring out routines too. And so freshman year was a lot of trial and errors, and I would say sophomore year too. And then junior year is really when I started to establish a lot more healthier routines. And then senior year is when I kept those healthy routines. And senior year was also crazy because I was wedding planning at the time, and that was a whole crazy thing as well. And then it was like my last semester too, and it was a lot. So a lot of things happened in college for me. A lot of changes, a lot of life updates, but they were all so fun and definitely beneficial for my growth with the Lord too. But a lot of it was trial and error, which I will say that health and fitness is a lot of trial and error, figuring out what works with your body, figuring out, okay, what's going to work with my routine and my schedule with work and friends. And if you're married, like, how am I going to create these healthy routines in the life that God has given me? And so, and how to steer that well for his glory too. And so there's just a lot of trial and error with health and fitness. And as a disclaimer, I'm not a professional in any way. This is just things that I've learned. And so take with what I say with a grain of salt, bring it up to the Lord, pray about it. And if there's things in here that you're like, I could apply that into my life, then go and do that. But first and foremost, bring anything up to the Lord and pray about it. And just take what I say with a grain of salt, please. And also, please don't take what I say out of context as well. And so I just want to say that as a disclaimer. But so that was kind of my experience with college and just figuring out health. Like, I went to school for nutrition, and I was just figuring out, how do I stay healthy in college? Like, freshman year, I was living in a dorm. And so I didn't have a kitchen. And I figured out a great life hack. I don't know if Ben told me this at the time or friends told me this, but you can microwave eggs. And so because I learned how to make eggs on the stove at home. And obviously I didn't have a stove with me in my dorm room. So we had a microwave, and then we had a fridge, and that was pretty much the only appliances that we had. And then, so what I did was I got a bowl, I cracked eggs in there, and then I just like stirred those together and put them in the microwave. And then I had toast with that. So I had a good solid breakfast in the morning in my dorm room. But then every other meal I had it like on campus at a restaurant, which, interesting fact about GCU, Grand Canyon University, if you haven't heard of about that school yet, but interesting fact, they don't have like a dining hall on campus. They have grocery stores, and they have all restaurants. So it's a restaurant-based campus, which is kind of cool. But my college experience wasn't going to the dining hall and having a salad bar and like a pasta bar or anything like that. Like I would go to a restaurant with friends on campus, which was pretty fun. And they actually had some pretty great options for restaurants there. And like my two favorite restaurants were Fresh Fusion and Purple Greens. And those are like, I loved those. Like Fresh Fusion was where you could make salads and sandwiches and you could have flatbreads, and it was so good and just was so fresh. And the Purple Greens were bowls, like having rice bowls. You could make your own salads. You could have soup there, and like noodle bowls. And so they're really great. And like they had grocery stores on campus, so you get fresh fruits and veggies and snacks and everything. So they had still great healthier options. For like that I was thinking about since I was, and so they still had really great healthy options, which is a blessing, and I was grateful about that. And so, but it was still hard because I grew up in a kitchen making food at home, and obviously like growing up I would eat out, but I loved cooking, and I still do, and I love just eating at home and making meals. And so that was an adjustment for me of figuring out, okay, how am I going to eat healthy living on campus in a dorm without a kitchen? And so that was a lot of trial and error too, of just navigating through that and like being okay with eating out. And if my friends wanted to eat out at like a restaurant that maybe didn't have as many healthy options, which thankfully like on GCU, and I feel like anywhere now, there's always like a healthy option that you can choose from for people who are health conscious, or like if people like really do genuinely love salads, like there are options at restaurants that have salads now. So I am grateful about that. So it wasn't super hard, but there were moments when I would like spontaneously, my friends and I would spontaneously go and get a dessert, which is fine. And so a lot of my freshman, sophomore, and just throughout like my college years in general was a lot of like trial and error with health and fitness. And so that's just kind of has changed over the years. And so a lot of it, again, trial and error. So that's a little bit of my experience. And so now I'm kind of want to share just like advice that I've learned throughout college with just staying healthy for God's glory. So number one, I would say, is to establish a relationship with the Lord if you don't have a relationship with the Lord, or continue to grow your relationship with God. If you do have a relationship, but if you want it to grow more, I would say like definitely focus on that in college. Like for me, like I said, I got saved in September of 2021. And so I was navigating through, okay, I've never been a Christian before. Navigating through how do I have this relationship with God who isn't face to face with me, who lives in heaven, and I have his word that I've never read before. And so that was a lot of just figuring out, what is being a Christian like? Like, how do I live this life for God's glory? And so if you're in that boat, let's say you are a very new believer, or you've been saved for a few months, whatever that looks like, first and foremost with like establishing and growing your relationship with the Lord, I would say get a mentor. Number one, get a mentor. I got a mentor in December of 2021, so a few months after being saved, and that helped so much. And I was going through something at the time where I was like, I need someone to help me with this. And obviously the Lord and God brought me to one of my mentors back in Arizona. Her name's Annie, and she is amazing. And she really helped me. And she's an older woman, and so I would say get an older woman in your life if you're a girl, or an older man in your life if you're a boy, to really just have someone older than you to help you, give you advice, to help you in your walk with the Lord. And that really helped me because I had accountability. I had someone that I could go to and ask questions about, and could help me figure out like, okay, how should I pray to the Lord? How should I read his word? What advice would you give me in this situation? And like, just really, she helped me so much with my walk with the Lord. And so I'd say get a mentor, join a Bible study group. Like, I knew nothing about the Bible when I first got saved. I didn't read it growing up. It just wasn't a part of my childhood. And so I just didn't read it growing up. And so when I got saved, like, I obviously the Lord nudged me to read his word more and more. And so, and it was so sweet. My friends actually gifted me on my birthday that year a Bible, and they wrote like notes in there. It was so sweet. I still have it. And it's so sweet. But so with that said, I ended up did join a Bible study group with Ben and like our group of friends that we met our freshman year. And we were going through, I think it was the book of James, which was a really great book. And it was great. And even though I didn't really know a lot about the Bible, it was so great being with other believers who maybe have been saved longer and knew more. And so I got to hear them talk about the Bible more. I got to hear more like thoughts about it, and just more about God's word and in the context of it and what it means. And so I would say join a Bible study group for sure, whether that's a Bible study group that you meet with friends on campus or it's at your church, whatever that looks like. And what's so nice about GCU is it is like there are opportunities and there are people there that are believers on campus, and that there's opportunities to join a Bible study group or to make your own Bible study group. And there's chapel. And so there's a lot of great opportunities on that campus. And I would say like with any Christian campus, which is really great that there are those opportunities to where you can get plugged in and grow your faith more. And then I would say also prayer walks, definitely like go on prayer walks, get outside, pray to the Lord, where it's just you and him and you're walking. And it just really, I don't know, it's just something about that where you're outside, you're just you're just hearing the wind, you're hearing the birds, and it's just so peaceful. And it's just like between you and the Lord, and you can just tell him anything. And so that's also something like prayer definitely grows your relationship with the Lord. And you can tell God anything. He wants you to tell him anything, and he wants to grow with you as well, and he wants to carry your burdens. And so I would say definitely pray to the Lord, whether that is a prayer walk or sitting outside or sitting in your room or just having a designated spot on campus where you can go to by yourself and just be with the Lord. And that's such a precious time, and that can really grow your relationship with the Lord as you're being more intimate with him and intentional, and that's what he wants. And then I would say make time to study the Bible. Actually sit down, grab a notebook, look up commentary. Blue Letter Bible is great, and then Got Questions is also really great website. If you have any questions about the Bible, they have so many resources about that too. And Blue Letter Bible is also great that I mentioned, and they have commentators where they kind of explain verses and what this actually means in the context that God intends it to be in. And so I would say just like get a notebook, write out notes, study the Bible, read a passage of a book in the Bible every single day, and really learn and understand God's word so you can understand him more and you can love him more, and you can then, from knowing him more, your relationship is going to grow more. So make time, whether that's in the morning or in the evening, or that's both in the morning and in the evening that you want to read God's word. Just like pick a time in the day that you know you can have uninterrupted time, that you can sit with God for like 30 minutes or an hour or however long you have, even 15 minutes, to just sit with the Lord, read his word, and learn more about him. And then I would say also go to church. Like find a great Bible teaching church where you can grow community, you can get plugged in and serve, and then you can meet a mentor there and find a mentor and just help you grow so much of your relationship with the Lord, because Christ-centered community will help you grow your relationship with the Lord, because you'll have great friends who can keep you accountable, and you will just, and God also created us for him and wants us to get in community, because we all need people. And so that can also just strengthen your relationship with the Lord so much more. So I would say with that, just number one, grow your relationship with the Lord. And those are just a few ways that I've learned that can really help too. Okay, next I would say sleep. And this one was a pretty big one for me because I grew up loving going to bed early. I still do. I love waking up early, love going to bed early. I would say now I go to bed like sometimes 9:30, but it's either 9:30 or 10 that I'll go to bed. If you are also an early morning riser, or you just like to get great sleep, and you maybe are a freshman in college or about to go into college, or maybe you are just out of college and you're like, hey, how do I get great sleep? Or maybe you're just in the you're maybe a sophomore or a junior in college and you're like, I really want to get better at sleep. Because it took me my junior year of college and senior year of college to really get good, adequate sleep. And again, that just takes trial and error and just figuring out your scheduling too. But I would say build a great morning and night routine. That is because first and foremost, having a great night routine is going to help you have a great morning routine. And establish a great night routine. Do things at night, clean up your space, maybe set out the clothes you're going to wear tomorrow, the next day, and maybe wind down, shut off, don't look at screens, maybe read a book, read God's word, and just kind of wind down 1 to 2 hours before actually going to bed, to help you wake up early in the morning. Whether that means you have to because of a job or a class, or because you want to, so that way you just have more time in your day. Whatever that looks like, I would say establishing a great night routine is going to help you get up earlier in the morning. And then also having a great morning routine, whether that looks like reading God's word in the morning, whether it looks like moving your body in the morning, whatever that looks like for you and your schedule in your life. Establishing those routines can help you to enjoy waking up early, enjoy going to bed early, as well as just start establishing a great routine that you can be consistent with as well. But it took me a while to get good, adequate sleep, because I remember freshman year, I would stay up until midnight, maybe sometimes 3 a.m. almost every single night. And that wasn't that feasible for my body, because then I would wake up, I'd either snooze through my alarm, or I would just not get that much sleep, and I'd be so tired throughout the day that I just would not be having that much energy throughout the day. And sometimes, I will say, balance is key with all of this too. It's there are going to be some nights where you do end up staying up till midnight, whether that's a weekend or a weeknight because you're studying, or you're hanging out with friends, or you're visiting your family, whatever that looks like. There are going to be nights where you do stay up a little bit later than you maybe would like to or thought you would. But that's okay though, because don't be super strict with yourself on, I have to go to bed at 9 p.m. every single night in order to get great sleep. That's not always the case. You could go to bed at 11 and then maybe sleep in a little bit, or wake up at 11 and still wake up at 5 and then maybe get better sleep the next night. But I would say just knowing balance is okay and balance is good, but also be consistent with yourself, but not strict. Also, consistency is key with this too. And making sure that you're going to bed at maybe 10 p.m. during the weeknights, and then maybe over the weekends you stay up a little bit later, and then maybe you sleep in a little bit, or you still wake up at the same time if you really do genuinely love to wake up early. And that's and so for me, I've learned okay, there are going to be different seasons that you walk through where you're not going to get that much sleep, especially as you get older. But also freshman year, I did go to bed later, and then I got better into routine over the summer since I didn't have school. And then sophomore year, I got a little bit better sleep, but I was still going to bed at midnight because of a job and other things. And so a lot of it was just trial and error and figuring out, okay, writing out my schedule of how can I get better sleep. And so junior year is when I really got better sleep, because just other priorities shifted and scheduling changed, and I didn't really have as many early morning classes my junior year of college, and I had a different job that was a little bit more flexible, and so I was able to get better sleep. And so there's gonna be different seasons where you don't get that much sleep or you get more sleep, but in those seasons, write out your schedule of hey, what do I have going on this week, and how can I get things done earlier in the day so that I can go to bed earlier. And maybe hang out with friends in the morning, or hang out with friends in the afternoon or early evening, so then that way you still aren't, so that way you're not isolating yourself, you're still hanging out with friends, but then that way you can also go to bed early and wake up early too. And just know my situation is going to be different than yours. And so just know that like we have different lives. And so what's worked for me and what I'm saying here, like figure that out, what that looks like for you in your life and your schedule right now. Okay, next is healthy eating habits. So what I would say with this is find healthier options on campus. So let's say that you live on campus. Maybe you're far from home, so you can't go home and cook meals at home. Let's say you live in a dorm room. And for me, freshman year, I lived in a dorm. And then my sophomore through senior year, I lived in an apartment. And so, but I didn't really start utilizing my kitchen as much until my junior year and senior year of college. Sophomore year I did a little bit, but I did still eat out quite a bit because I was just so used to that from my freshman year. But like I said before, like I found that hack with the eggs and microwaving them my freshman year. And then we had a fridge, so I could put some fruit in there, but I was mainly eating out on campus. And so if maybe you go to GCU or you go to a different campus, find like I said before, there's always healthier options, a lot more now, which is nice. And so there's healthy options at restaurants like that, whether it's like you like salads, there's always going to be a salad at a restaurant, or whatever that looks like there's always going to be a healthier option. So maybe you are more health conscious. I would say like just kind of look for, okay, maybe what sounds great, like don't restrict yourself, like where I'm like, no, I can only have this healthy option, I can only have the salad. Like no, like find like something that you enjoy and figure out a way to make it a little bit healthier for you too, if you're a little more health conscious in that way. And then I would say, so just kind of find those healthier options. And if your college does have grocery stores on campus, like, and you live in an apartment, go get like, go buy like meats and fruits and veggies there, and then make something out at your apartment. Or if you live at home too and you have a kitchen, like cook maybe at home more instead of eating out, and then maybe eat out like once or twice a week with friends or something like that. So where you can still go and eat out and have fun doing that, but you're not doing that all the time, and then you can eat at home if you do enjoy doing that. And then also I would say if you do have an apartment or you are living at home, maybe like meal prep your meals and take them so you can have them in between classes, or have them in class as well, if whatever that looks like for you. But that way when you're hungry, you're not immediately going out to eat, but you're like, oh no, I have my own meal, I can eat this. And that also helps save you some money too. And then also like you can buy like healthier snacks too at the grocery store if you need to. And so that way you can bring those healthier snacks with you to class, and you can eat those during class or after class. And then if you really do, let's say you just have a later class in the evening where you're like, I can't go home and make a meal really quickly, then you can like go and eat out, and just kind of figure out what that looks like for you. And if you don't like meal prepping, like there's prepackaged meals that are actually pretty good, that you can have and grab from the store and have those. I know I've done that my freshman year, and that actually helped out a lot, and it was really great too. And that can also help you just like have those and put them in the freezer and grab them whenever you need to, and just like a healthier, quick, easy meal as well. But that's what I would say. And for me, there was a lot of trial and error with eating healthy. Like I was navigating through that freshman year of like, how am I going to stay healthy and doing all these things? And like I said, they had a few great healthy restaurants on campus that I really enjoyed and I would go to almost every single day. And then once I got an apartment, I started to cook a little bit more, like for breakfast and then lunch and dinners and everything. But then sometimes I would go and eat out with friends, and so that wasn't all that bad too. And so that was pretty great. And so but I did end up eating out quite a bit my sophomore year, especially since there were some restaurants right next to my apartment, and it was just like, I don't feel like cooking. I'm so tired, had a long day of classes. I just want to go eat something, which isn't always bad, but I did that almost every single day too. And so I really needed to cut back on that. And then, like I said, junior, senior year of college, that's really when I started utilizing more of the kitchen in my apartment, especially since like it wasn't cheap living in an apartment on campus, I'll say that. And so I definitely wanted to utilize that kitchen as much as I could. And so I would just do that, and that helped a ton, because then I would just like meal prep some easy meals to bring to class with me. And it was also kind of nice just getting to make a nice warm meal at home and then cozy in and then like go in my room and like study and everything. And so that was kind of nice. But I didn't really start utilizing things until my junior and senior year of college. And a lot of it, again, was just trial and error, figuring out, okay, how can I stay healthy while still eating out and also cooking at home? And so it just was a lot of trial and errors. And I know I'm saying that a lot, but I want to repeat that because there's no like one formula for everyone of how to stay healthy, especially with eating. It's like everyone's body is different, because it's so cool. Like our bodies were all created by the Lord, but we're all so like different too and unique, and God did that so intentionally. And so like I'm able to eat dairy and gluten and all of that, and I don't really have that many allergies, but some other people are gluten sensitive and are dairy free. And so it's just a lot of trial and errors with that. Okay, next is working out, and more so like moving your body. Kind of how can I do that in college? How can I create that routine? And something I'll say is like, maybe like kind of, well, here's what I'll say. I'll give like examples of like, you could lift weights on campus. You could go run. You could walk around campus, or you could play a sport. I know on GCU's campus, they now have pickleball, which is so fun. Like when I went there, I think it was my senior year, is when they had a bunch of pickleball courts, which I wish they were there when I started college, but that's okay. So they have those, which is so fun. And pickleball is so fun. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite sports. My favorite sport is soccer, but pickleball is also one of my favorites. And they had intramurals too. I think I'm saying that right. I hope I'm saying that right. But they had those, which is basically like where you can form your own team. If you don't know what that is, it's basically where you can form your own team, and then you kind of put your team in a league, and then you do that. And they had like soccer, flag football, I think. I could be wrong. I think they had basketball too, and volleyball. And so they had a lot. I never did those. Like I played club soccer my first semester freshman year of college, and then that's it. And then I stopped after that because I knew I didn't want to keep playing soccer professionally, and I needed to more get a job and kind of focus more on, okay, what do I actually want to do after college? And so I would say those are just a few examples of how you can move your body, and kind of find ways that you're able to move your body every single day that work with your schedule. Because it's not like one size fits all. Like what worked for me in college is maybe not going to work for you, because maybe you have different scheduling. Maybe you don't enjoy running as much. Like I started running, like long distance running, my junior year of college, and now I still stick with it and I do enjoy it. But you might not enjoy that. And so maybe figuring out something else, like doing HIIT workouts, which is high intensity interval workouts, or maybe like playing pickleball. You're still able to move you're still doing some cardio and doing that. That's fun. Or tennis or soccer or playing basketball for fun, or whatever that looks like. And so figure out, what do you like to do, whether that is lifting weights or running or walking or playing a sport. Figure out, okay, what works for you, what do you enjoy, and then like being consistent with that. Again, consistency is key with this. Don't focus so much on perfection and and don't burn yourself out with trying to do a workout like an hour or two lifting session at the gym every single day, because you're going to burn yourself out. You just are. But find ways where you can kind of switch things up. Like maybe you lift weights 3 times a week and then you go run 3 times a week, or you lift weights 3 times a week and then you go play pickleball 1 time a week, and then you go and you run another day in the week, and then you go on a walk like the last day of the week. Like whatever that looks like, figure out what works for you in your schedule, and just stick with it and be consistent with it. And even like writing out your workouts too, so that way you can be more consistent with that. And you're like, hey, I have it right now. I see it. I'm going to do it today. And even also like signing up for a class at a gym on campus. That can also help too, because you don't want to like waste that. Or if you do go to a gym off campus and you can sign up for a class, and that sometimes does cost money, or you pay for the membership and you don't want to waste that either. So then that can also help you work out more doing that. Or also working out with a friend. Like I've done that a few times and it's been really fun. And that also has helped me stay accountable too with that, because I'm like, okay, I'm working out with a friend. I don't want to cancel on them because I know they're looking forward to it too. And so I'm just going to go out and do it. And so it can just help you it can keep you accountable if you work out with a friend, or you take a class, or you even write it out. And so figure out what works for you, stick with that, and have fun with it. Like it shouldn't be something that you dread. It should be something that you truly enjoy. And so find out what that is and stick with it. And that took me a while to understand. Like I didn't really enjoy lifting weights until my sophomore or junior year of high school. And then I really like figured out, okay, what do I actually enjoy with what workouts do I actually enjoy? And then I figured that more out in college, and then have like tailored that into my life now. And then, like I said, like I didn't really enjoy cardio all that much except for soccer. But even then that was sometimes I enjoyed it, sometimes I didn't, depending on what we were doing. But I started to enjoy more running my junior year of college. And so, and so a lot of it, again, trial and error, figuring that out. For me, it took me a while to figure out what workouts I actually enjoy. And then I would just keep doing it every single day and finding different things to do. And then I ended up doing it. Next that I want to talk about is finding community. So I think this is a great way to stay healthy in college, because it helps you not to isolate yourself, but to get in community. And what's so cool is when you're in college, everyone's looking for community. Everyone's in that same season of wanting to find friends, of wanting to meet new people. And so it's a great opportunity to meet new people. And I found some really great friends during my college years, and that was such a blessing from the Lord. And a lot of it was from my church that I went to in Arizona called Christ Church. And a lot of it was also on campus and meeting people in my classes. And a lot of them are still my really close friends I still talk to this day, and that's amazing. And so don't isolate yourself in college. And I get it. You might be super busy. You might have a lot more priorities. You might be in a hard major where you have to study every single day for a lot of hours. But like I've mentioned before, find ways where you can hang out with people, whether it is in the morning, or it's at night, or it is in the afternoon, or if it's only over the weekends. Find ways where you can hang out with people and not isolate yourself. And you can, because we need community. It helps us keep us accountable in our relationship with the Lord. It just keeps us from isolating ourselves. And so getting community. And so some ways to do that is getting plugged into a Bible teaching church, getting plugged into a church that teaches the Bible, that teaches it in the context that God wrote it in. And I met a lot of great people there. And so find ways to get plugged in there, find ways to serve, get a mentor there, join a ministry there. And that's such a great way to meet people. I remember my junior year of college is when, I remember my junior year, my, Ben and I, when we were dating, we went, long distance during that year. And that was really hard. And I was going to Christ Church, and I've only had been going for, I don't know, less than 6 months. And I got plugged into the college ministry there, and I met some really cool people and some friends that I'm still close to this day. And so definitely get plugged into a Bible teaching church and find ways where you can serve and get plugged in to different areas at the church. And then something I've heard is that you never know what your yes will lead to. Meaning, if you get invited to go hang out with some friends, with whatever that means, whether it's a movie or getting dinner or whatever, just go. Say yes. definitely, I would say, first and foremost, with everything, pray to the Lord about it first. And if you have peace from God to do it, then go do it and see what he's going to do with it in that situation. And because you never know what's going to happen if you don't go. Like, that could be that situation. If, let's say, you get invited to go to a movie with some friends, that situation could be where you meet some really cool people and you grow in deeper friendships with those people. Like, that would be awesome. And so just go and see what God's going to do with that, especially if you have peace from the Lord to go do it. Because I know there's been situations where so my freshman year, this was like 2 weeks into school starting, I was doing something in my dorm room, and my roommate got off the phone with a friend that she met before me, and that I'm still really great friends with to this day. And she got off the phone, and I walked into the room, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to come hang out with me and one of my friends in another girl's dorm room to watch?" His name was Tim Hawkins. He's a Christian comedian. I had never heard of the guy before, and I was like contemplating whether I should or not. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, sure, I'll just go, because you just don't know. And I wanted to meet new people, and so I was like, you know what? Yes, let's go. And so we went, and it was so fun. But what was funny is I ended up meeting Ben there on that day, and did not think I was going to meet the person I was going to marry on that day. And it just goes to show that you never know what's going to happen unless you go. And so I'm so grateful that I went that day, and how the Lord just worked everything out, because that group of friends was one I was really close to my freshman and sophomore year. And Ben and I, of course, we grew closer too, and then we started dating, and then by God's grace, we got married, and that's amazing. And now we've been married for over a year, which is wild to even say that. So you just never know. And so I would say just go, have fun, say yes, and watch what God's going to do with that. Okay, next, I want to talk about organization. And so I think this is a great area to talk about, because if your space isn't organized, then I feel like, I don't know where I heard this, and I hope I'm going to say it right, but it's like, if your space isn't organized, your mind isn't organized. If your space is cluttered, then your mind's going to be cluttered, and you're going to just be sporadic, and everything's just kind of be all out of place. And so, and I personally love organization, and I like putting things in a spot. I like keeping my house clean, and it's just, to me, I really enjoy it, and it's kind of fun. So with that category, I have a few points I kind of want to talk about to help you in ways that you can kind of be a little more organized, so that way you can have a healthier space around you. And so my first one is to plan out your week. Write out what you're doing in the week. Write out what homework you need to get done. Write out what priorities you have going on, what extracurricular activities you have. Write those all out, and just plan out your week of, okay, maybe like the top 4 priorities that you need to get done that week. And like figure out, okay, what do I really need to get done this week? And don't like put so much on your plate that you're like, I can't get anything done. Just pick like 3 or 4 priorities, top priorities that you can get done that week. And then maybe make a separate category of, maybe these are things that I would like to get done this week, but if I don't, that's okay. I can just move them over to next week. So plan out your week and figure out what that looks like for you in your planning, because everyone plans differently. And so just figure out what that's like in your life and how you like to plan. But I would say that, and then that way you can see it visually of, okay, this is all that I need to get done. Next is to write to-do lists each day. So you plan out your week, then write out each day, Monday through Friday. Okay, what can I get done on Monday? Write what you need to do on Monday, and write out what you need to do on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and vice versa for all those days. So then that way you know what you're going to get done each day. And that can also help you just not feel overwhelmed and that can also help you just not feel so overwhelmed with everything you have to do that day. I know that has helped me. And I'm such a visual person that I just like to see everything right now. So then that way, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this done at this time and get this done on this day. And it's just helped me so much. And so hopefully that helps you. Okay, next is I did not come up with this idea. Cannot take the credit. I got this from a YouTube video I watched. And it's basically a school assignment tracker. And so I did this on Google spreadsheets, but you can also do this off of Excel. But it's basically where you write out all your homework assignments for the entire semester. And then you write out next to it in another column, you write out all the due dates for all the homework assignments for the semester. And then you categorize and organize them based off of the due date. So let's say you have like these 3 assignments and they're all due on this day. You put those together in one section, and then you do that for all your homework assignments. And then like color coordinate. So color coordinate with like your classes. Let's say you have 5 classes, and so one class will have this color, another class will have this color, and another class will have that color, and you do that for all the classes. And then you can organize and put all the classes. Let's say out of all your 5 classes, you have like 5 assignments that are all due on, I don't know, let's say September 20th. They're all due on September 20th. And so what you could do is you could put all those assignments together, so that way for that week that they're due, you just focus on those assignments. And then you do that for all of the other assignments for all the classes. And that really helped me just to see it visually and to be a lot more organized of like, telling myself, okay, these are the homework assignments I need to get done this week, and then do it. And it just helped me to stay more on top of my homework. I hope I explained that well, and maybe I'll make a video about it, but it really helped me. And so make yourself an assignment tracker where you can see all your assignments visually for all your classes, and that can help you be able to just kind of organize your homework assignments better and easier. And also make sure that you have a designated study spot with no distractions. So just find a spot on campus, or maybe it's at a coffee shop off campus or somewhere where you know that you can get work done. Where you know you can get work done. And that'll just help you so much, because I've had a few good study spots. If it just got a little dark, I'm sorry, my light just went out, but we're going to keep going. And so, where was I? Oh, yeah. So, like, I've had, like, study spots that are, like, my favorite coffee shops I would go to, and I'd be able to just to focus, dial in, and get homework done with no distractions. And so maybe find a spot where you can study, get homework done, and then that way, with no distractions, you can really just lock in and get that stuff done. To kind of help you know that when I'm in this spot, I need to get work done, or at this place, I need to get work done. And also inviting friends too is really fun, because it also makes doing the work a little bit more fun, because all of your friends around you are also working. And so it also keeps you accountable too, and keeps you motivated as well. That's the word I was trying to find. And also with that, maybe join or make your own study group too, because I joined a few study groups when I was in college, and that helped a lot. Asking questions where I was confused about this that maybe some of my friends or people in my class understood, and it just helped really gain to study more and just talk with other people before an exam. So you could also do that too. Okay. Oh, and then, yeah. Okay. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. Okay. Next is something I'll say is take breaks. Do not try to do everything all at once. Take breaks. Let's say you're studying for an hour or 2. Take a break, because you don't want to just completely study for like 4 hours straight, because then you're going to feel burnout, and then it feels like your brain's melting, and then you're just like not going to be motivated to keep working if you still have more stuff to do that day. And so take breaks. Whether that's going on walks, whether that's watching a quick show, or that's hanging out with friends after you study for maybe an hour or 2, and then working later, or even just like going or just like taking a minute to just sit there and breathe for like 5 minutes, whatever that looks like for you, or reading a book or whatever that looks like for you. Just take a break, because I have had moments where I have had complete burnout and I'm like, oh, I still have more to do. And then I just could not retain anything else. I would just really struggle with getting all my homework done and everything. And so I would say take breaks, learn from my mistake, and take breaks. I definitely did take breaks, but I remember I had to finish this paper and it was due the day I was working on it. And I was almost done, but man, I did that for probably 2 hours straight. And by the end of it, I was like, I want to go sleep. It was a lot. And so even like just, it was a lot. And so I would say just go and find ways where you can take small little breaks. Even if it's 5 minutes, you study for like 20 minutes and then you take a 5-minute break. And then you go back and doing that for like 2 hours. Like that's okay, as long as you just take small little breaks to keep your brain being able to retain things. Because if you completely burn yourself out and study for 4 hours straight without taking any breaks, your brain's not going to be able to retain anything after that. And so take breaks. I promise you, it's worth it to take breaks. Okay. So also something that's kind of popped in my head is finances. And I will say that I'm not a finance person. I still don't understand all of everything that comes with finances, and I definitely want to talk about that on here, especially like in a college setting for people, because it's hard to understand. Okay, I'm an adult, I have this money, I have a job. How do I steward this well for God's glory? And so I'm hoping to have an episode come out soon with my husband on and talking about finances and having a deeper conversation about that, because he actually went to school for finance and he works at a financial firm. And so I think having him on the podcast would be a lot more beneficial than me, because I have no idea what I'm talking about with finance. Nutrition, I can talk about that all day. Finance, not so much. And I know a little bit, but my husband definitely knows a lot more. And so I am hoping to have that episode come out really soon with him on there. And I do want to talk about that. So it won't be on this podcast. It won't be in this episode, but I'm hoping that it'll come out soon for you guys, because it's hard to know, like, that's something that no one really teaches you on how to steward money well, especially after college too. And I am so grateful I have a husband who knows and understands finances, because I'm weak in that area. And so it was really nice that he's able to kind of teach me all of that. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you guys were able to take something from this, and that it just helped you understand a little bit more of how to stay healthy in college. And so please go subscribe if you aren't already, because that definitely helps the podcast. And if you want to just stay up to date on anything that's happening with the podcast, please subscribe and like this video, and also comment down below what you liked about this video and anything else that you want me to talk about, whether topics you want me to talk about. I would love to know, and talk about things that you guys want to hear. And also, if you are watching the YouTube, which I hope you are, because it's so fun, I have a new intro that just came out on this episode, and I absolutely love it. I think it's my favorite, and it just kind of shows more of the new direction that I'm going with this podcast. And so I hope that you guys like that new intro, and just remember to stay rooted in God and stay rooted in His Word. I love you all, and I will see you all next week for another great episode. Bye.